What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another fabulous episode of the Crypto Mavericks podcast. You know, my amazing co host, Joe, and we have a great guest here for you today. It's Sean Wren, who's the CEO of Sahara AI, a decentralized platform that makes AI development, ownership, and accessibility available for everyone. Sean, really happy to have you on.
Thank you, Brian. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so you have a super impressive background, Sean, and really appreciate you joining us. Would love to know a little bit about your background. And I saw that you were the USC associate professor. You had some ties to Samsung. Give us a little background of where you went from there and where you are now.
Yeah, I personally think I have an interesting background in both academia and industry. Before starting Sahara in 2023, I actually been doing research in AI for over 15 years. Most recently as like associate professor at USC Computer Science Department. Like I work on this topic called natural language processing, which basically is to help build a great natural language interface between human and these like machine systems, like what we call AI these days. More concerning about how to make user trust this system because they don't know too much about the system and also they cannot control the system very well in the past. We're making huge progress on that, and thankfully some of my research also got contributed on that part. And I also split time at industry, like as advisor at Snapchat, for example, to help see what really make it challenging and even as a blocker when we transferring this like research technology into like a real world production system. And I think many of them are to do with like the scalability and efficiency when you have to like put these complex AI methods into a products that serve like hundreds of millions of users, right? There's a lot of like loopholes happens over there. So I think both experiences give me insights when I start building Sahara AI to understand I always need to find a good trade-off between how advanced the technique is versus how realistic you can deploy it into practice.
Yeah, that's an amazing background, and obviously the world of AI over the past few years has, grown tremendously, and just now normal people out in the everyday world are talking about AI. But you said you've been researching it for 15 years, so I could only imagine how it's developed over those past 15 years. Joe and I are both big fans of the world of AI and how it could integrate with crypto. But
Mhm.
for people new to Sahara AI, we'd love for you to just kind of give them a snapshot in simple terms of exactly what you're building.
Yeah, I mean the simplest way to understand Sahara AI is that we are building a copyright systems for the life cycle of AI development, right? Because we are living in a sort of AI-driven future where everyone try to own their personal AI agents and try to create this autonomous system can help you complete different tasks. The problem is that if you look at these systems existing today, they are not owned by the contributors who add values to this AI. Let's say you are using ChatGPT by uploading PDF spreadsheet and ask them to answer questions about your personal files, but you don't own those data, and your feedback to these AI systems actually goes all back to the owner of these applications like OpenAI, Google, Meta, and they use these cumulatively from hundreds of millions of users to improve the AI system to the even better one, to the extent that you'll start noticing some of these systems can replace part of your jobs or part of your daily life. And down the road, it's going to affect the whole monetization landscapes of every one of us, right? You will find out that, hey, my job doesn't need myself to do this manually. I can have a AI that can replace 70% of the jobs. So I think that's too late to consider the problem of ownership and what we call provenance, which is basically the trace of contributions in the process of creating AI, like who built the data sets, who created models, how the models was iterated from version A to version B, and then finally put into application that can make money. And the money is supposed to be go back to all of these like upstream contributors, which is not the case, obviously, as of now. So we are building this blockchain platform that can help everyone to create, to contribute to, and eventually to monetize their AI assets. And therefore, we want people to use our platform to build systems that are owned by everyone who contributed. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about data quality
Mhm.
and why that's so important in these AI models. I think I even have a quote written down somewhere by you that the next generation of AI is really about data quality. Why is
Mhm.
quality just such a bigger deal than just the sheer size?
Yeah, I mean, um, I think the just to use a more concrete example to help everyone understand, right? Like how OpenAI built ChatGPT or the model behind that is to script the entire internet, right? They look at the tweets on X, they look at the Wikipedia articles that are written by every one of us. They look at the Reddits, see how people discuss, and then they learn the basic um, languages, common sense, ethics, stuff like that from the internet, right? But to this extent, you have a kind of very general model that understand the human world, our mental world, but they are not good at specialized tasks, right? They are not good at translation by themselves. They are not good at writing math, like solving math problems. So in order to push this model to good at every single things, they need to mimic how human solve problems, right? Like by showing this model uh, tens of thousands of math problems along with their solutions, then it turns out this model can learn to do math much better than elementary school students. Now I think it's actually close to graduate students level. So that's why that's basic the underlying mechanisms of how imitation learning or this like mimicking works for AI models as well. And that's why we need high quality data. Like you need greater details of how a math problem is solved, written down line by line and show that to the model. So this is what we call the high quality data sets that we need. And I mean, at Sahara AI, initially we actually focus on what we call data labeling problem, which is given a requirement, say, hey, I want the model to be good at solving math. Then Meta talk to us, say, hey, can you can you create us a data set that is like tens of thousands of math problems along with its solutions written by college students who are good at math, and we produce that for them. Similarly, Microsoft talked to us, say, hey, we need to we need to improve the system in terms of like looking at charts of plots and then answer some reasoning questions about those plots, right? This is basically what textbooks actually require the students to do, and we produce that. So there's endless tasks in such a nature that require domain experts good at these tasks to provide uh, greater details of how they solve the problem. And these are the data sets that are key to the improvements of this AI system. And we still need humans, experts, to create them for the models.
Amazing stuff. A lot has changed in the world of AI since I last spoke to you. If we peel back a layer for just the general public listening, with AI, they compute with either tokens and or credits. Correct me if I'm wrong. And with Sahara AI, I love what you're doing, giving value to the creators. Is that how that's going to transact with the Sahara token, if there is one? And is that how the landscape is currently?
Yeah. If you think about AI these days produce a entirely new class of digital assets, like in the form of data sets, models, agents, right? And they carry a lot of like economic values. Like people actually pay to use these data sets and use these agents, right? That's great. And it's gonna continuously to be the case. And crypto provide this very interesting economic infrastructure. Like you can do on-chain registration of the ownership for these assets. You can trace the contributions through on the blockchain to see who have done what that are making key differences to these assets, right? And now we are basically building this platform to help to do two things. One is to create these like protocols that can do the on-chain registration of the ownership, can trace the contributions. And we're also building on top of this protocol a real platform that AI developers, data contributors, compute providers come in, can work on building agents. And we also provide them a marketplace where they can monetize these assets by trading the license access of these things. So now you can imagine we are producing this whole economic sort of ecosystem where people come in to build AI stuff and monetize AI stuff, and everyone have a share of the assets. And if revenue flowing, they will automatically split across all of the upstream contributor. That's what we call autonomous revenue sharing. That's powered by this protocol, right? And we are establishing basically this whole landscape, and the Sahara token is a very critical piece in this whole ecosystem where basically becomes the value exchange medium, right? If you need to pay to use agent to use data sets, you pay with the Sahara token as the currency. That's like a native currency on our whole ecosystem. If you need to trace the ownership and provenance of these assets, you need to use the blockchain, you need to pay gas fee, and Sahara token is the gas and all the other transaction fee medium. And you want to invest into some of these assets, right? You think that the developers is great and there will be upside continuously when this model iterate. You can invest into these assets by creating a reward pool for future development of this, and you can put Sahara token into there as the part of the reward pool. So basically, every single value exchanges in the whole development process of AI, including the monetization parts, we use Sahara token as the kind of a key channel.
Amazing stuff. Why do you think everyday people are going to be excited to contribute to AI in this way? And really, what role do you think these contributors are going to play with AI in the future?
Yeah, I think the context, to answer that question, the context is what is going on today in terms of people trying to monetize themselves in the whole ecosystem of AI, right? There's very limited option. Actually, there's only two kind of bad options for AI developers today. If I'm a very good person to create agents for travel booking, the best chance for me to monetize myself is probably work for companies like TripAdvisor or OpenAI to help them build the best travel agency agent. Because I get great salary, I get equity for the company, which have the upside. Um, and also because I don't have other places I can monetize myself. Like if you go to these open source platforms like GitHub and Hugging Face, if you guys know about them, it's entirely free. There's no business model. It's just for open science, which is great. I mean, as a professor, I love it. My students been using this every single day to find other people's data set and then building on top of them to make AI even better. But it's not a sustainable place for people to monetize. The best platform as of today where a developer can monetize themselves is called Kaggle, where people is doing this like bounty thing that, hey, I have this task, I pay $10,000, help me solve it. The best solution got the reward, right? In a very limited form. So what we really see the gap here is that we need a marketplace, we need a developer platform to trace the ownership and trace the contribution, and then we need a marketplace for developers to trade the assets in the form of license, right? Not just like a one-time deal, right? I'm not like just selling you the data sets by throwing you the data sets up. You pay me. I actually give you a very confidential way to visit my data sets, API call by API call, like query by query. So I don't need to give out my data sets, but I can still allow you to use it to query it, and I get the payments for every pay as go in a pay as go manner for all of these like assets. So I think that's the opportunity we see, right? There doesn't exist alternative economic models for these AI developers today, and we're trying to build that to help them find alternative way to monetize themselves.
Yeah, this just makes sense on the fundamental level that all AI should be on a blockchain for provenance. I think we just had the first ever copyright legal suit, right? Just this last few weeks or months on AI where they had to pay out. And that should set a precedence. And I can't imagine a future where AI is not the backbone. I'm sorry, blockchain is not the backbone of AI. So you have a lot of enterprise clients, it seems. Apologize if the numbers are incorrect, but 35 plus enterprise clients so far, over 200,000 AI global trainers. So what's like the biggest, I know this is a tough question, but what's been the biggest takeaway from, those collaborations so far?
Yeah, I think we have we started with the data services, data labeling business, as you just mentioned. We work up to today with over 40 enterprise clients. I think there's like at least two big takeaways here. One is that how crypto become attractive when you apply this to the online gig worker cloud, which are the supply side of the data service business, because there's like tens of millions of people actually working online for a couple hours per day just to get extra pay for their expertise. They can go to Amazon Mechanical Turk, they can go to do work for Scale AI, Search AI, all these like big companies. Now, there's a few challenges they are facing. One is the payment issue. Banking system are not that available in some of these like remote areas, regions, right? We found some countries or regions in Africa, in South Asia, they are not getting very friendly banking payment, but they are very pro crypto, and crypto is just a very easy payment rails for them to get basic salaries that pay their daily life, raise their family, basically. And secondary, crypto incentives is very attractive to them. Some of the projects that we work with, they publish data tasks, but they pay the users both fiat and also their project tokens as additional bonus. And those project tokens carries upsides of the project, and they are also very attractive to these gig workers. So I think online gig workers are very welcoming crypto-based data service business. And on the other side, the demand side, the enterprises that work with like Microsoft, Amazon, they look at all these vendors of data services like Scale AI, Search AI. They have a very standard view on how they select a vendor. Like it's basically price, speed, and can you do it for me, right? And we find out that because we use the crypto incentive and payment, we have much larger population of gig workers coming to register on our platform and tell us what they are good at and working on us for some different tasks. So we have a much broader access to these different domain experts, and therefore when a new task coming from Microsoft or Amazon, we actually have much more flexibility to identify people who are good at this task for them. So that add up to both the speed, the availability, and sometimes also the pricing, because you get a bigger pool, you have better price discovery opportunities here. So that's like the wing that we have on the data services by leveraging crypto. Yeah.
It feels like everybody and their mother now knows what ChatGPT is. It was just a couple years ago or not even, where like, my mother, my father, my uncle, they were like, oh, what's ChatGPT? And now, I'm getting pinged daily that they're utilizing it or they're using this sort of chatbot. You've explained in the past, I have this written down, that every time we use ChatGPT, there's an invisible conversation happening before ours and called the system prompt. Can you break down what that really means for the audience?
Yeah. So how language model or this like large model works today is that we call that in context learning. So you have a very general model, say GPT-5. This model can do many things, but then when in a particular conversation, like let's say in this particular podcast, you want the GPT to be a note taker, and this note taker also need to be more like serious and more tech oriented versus to be funky and other oriented, right? How do you customize this GPT-5 to do the job for you? What in context learning means is that you tell the model the situations or the context we are in the form of natural language, and you tell them before you deploy them to the actual usage, right? So, and how that got implemented as of today is you write down a bunch of your requirement and condition and constraints in just natural language sentence. Say, hey, like you are a serious note taker that is good at AI and technology terms, and try to make succinct notes for the podcast that's gonna happen. You can just simply type in 3 of these sentences, and the model actually can just customize itself for this purpose. And usually these so-called in-context prompts are hidden from the users of the model. They are not aware of what exactly has been put in. And some of the funny story that we know about this system prompt is that they sometimes will ask the system to be safe for work, right? For example, don't do certain things, don't. And sometimes you can actually attack this system, attack the users by asking the system to be doing some spurious things. And no one knows what is in those prompts. Yeah.
Do you think system prompts are going to eventually be something everyday users could adjust, or is it always going to be behind a curtain?
That's a great question, right? I think there's this area called accountability of AI system, which is now looking into problems like how do we audit system prompt to make sure they are not doing bad things for the users, right? And then a relevant threat is like, can we steal the system prompt from just interacting with the system? And even my labs in USC has research results showing you can actually steal the system prompt by just talking to the language model for a couple hundred times. You can use the output informations to recover at over 80% accuracy what the system prompt is, which means like if some companies have proprietary business secrets on their system prompts, there's a danger that those got stolen as well. Yeah, so it's a very interesting, still very much undergoing research area for accountability and safety of the system prompt. Yeah.
We see you have some really cool partnerships with Engine. I missed the trading one yesterday. I would be seriously interested in that. What's some of your collaborations coming up? And I'm so excited to use the product. I know last time we spoke, you're on testnet. I believe it still is. When's any insight on when the big day is coming?
Yeah, I mean, speaking about that, like we've been moving forward from just doing B2B go to market now to B2B2C, and the reason that was we think is super important to have consumer facing application to bootstrap our entire AI ecosystem for the developers. And to start with that, we picked 2 vertical domains. One is the DeFi Copilot agent. And just the simplest way to understand that is to create your personal portfolio manager, your advisor for DeFi. We want it ultimately to become automatically rebalance your portfolio, help you find the best yield farming strategies, the staking protocol, risk staking protocol, help you find the right basket of tokens, blue chip tokens based on your risk tolerance level, stuff like that. Very personalized. And another vertical is the creator replica. It's basically find, let's say if you are a KOL or like influencer, you have hundreds of thousands of fans or millions of fans on Instagram. They talk to you, they DM you, right? And you'd have no time to respond them. But there's a great monetary opportunity there. They can give you tips. You can sell your media content. You need a person to chat to them for you, and you can even have an autonomous agent talk to them for you. And we are building that. We work with one of the largest creator agency in West Hollywood that manage over 400 creators, already have monthly revenues over $10 million, and they want autonomous agents to scale things up, to work for over 1,000 different creators, to work for more fans, right? To talk to them more frequently. And on the DeFi Copilot side, we are launching this with World Liberty Finance wallet, the USD1 wallet, with the Trump family. They are launching their app very soon this month, and in the next version you'll be seeing our DeFi Copilot agent embedded into the app, into the wallet app, where people can talk to the agent, say, "Hey, I have USD1. What should I do to get some good yield rate? I don't want to take too much risk. What's my option? They say, hey, maybe you can consider throwing that into BTC. So yeah, how did I do that? I'm new users to crypto. Where should I get the BTC? And then they say, hey, either you go to some SEX or you can consider swapping it on the Binance Smart Chain. And yes, that sounds good. Let's do it. And then there will be a pop-up window. Just do a bunch of simple clicks. You get it done. So this agent is both a good advisor plus like help you execute things, smooth out the crypto native experiences for retail users who are new to crypto. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Back to kind of like the macro AI world, a lot of people, whenever they talk about AI, their biggest concern is going to replace their job or a job of, their loved ones. I do have an opinion on this, so I'm curious about yours. Do you see AI being more of a disruptor in the job market, or will it overall create more jobs for people in the long run?
I think both are true. They are not conflicting, and it's already happening. Surprisingly, but also not surprisingly, is that when ChatGPT come out, we say, "Hey, jobs gonna get replaced," which is true. But the populations that where the job get replaced is actually a little bit more surprising. It's actually those knowledge workers, like even professors like us jobs are most like entering work because we memorize things, we consolidating knowledge, we teach knowledge to people. We are like I'm sort of a person that working on questions that are information seeking or more like a knowledge reasoning intense, right? And this is exactly what these large models good at. They're very good at memorizing informations from the internet, consolidating informations, give you a succinct summary, and even now good at reasoning intense tasks like solving math problems, chemistry problems. Eventually, it's gonna be good at planning a trip for you, even like executing the plans with you for you, right? Booking a trip to New York for 6 days. I don't like something. I like to do something. They get all of things flush out and also solve all of the payment issues to get you everything booked. So I think knowledge workers jobs got most disrupt, and new jobs gonna start showing where um, I'm sure the AI channel is gonna be a bigger and bigger jobs for these people, right? If I'm good at something that AI is still not there yet, I can get paid by OpenAI maybe at $100 per hour to teach the AI, to give them feedback, to do things just by talking to them, correcting them the wrong things, telling them how to do the right things. That's a new job, right? And I also think if you think about coding, this is another job that hugely disrupted today. Front-end developers writing JavaScripts and all this HTML stuff, they are probably only need to spend 10% of their time as of today with the help of some coding compilers like Cursor and so on. So these people either they have to just like move on to the other jobs, or they need to find ways to work with this compiler and extract more of the creativity of themselves rather than the mechanical part of like coding, right? Same thing for designers. You can use image generation, video generations to do designs much easier, but picking the right design that satisfies the high level objectives is the most creative part that is still hard to be replaced. So top tier people in each of these verticals still have a huge market. Low to medium tier peoples need to think about how do they want to be competitive in these different verticals or move on to the other job types. Yeah.
Yeah, really well said there. Really well said. And it's definitely, like you said, it's going to affect some jobs out there, but people can adapt and change. It's going to create new opportunities, new jobs. And it's very similar to like whenever the internet came out, whenever calculators came out. I'm sure people were like, oh, you're never going to be able to do basic arithmetic. Even though one of my kids last night burned me pretty good because I was checking her homework and I was like using a calculator, and she's like, "Oh, you get to use a calculator." I was like, "Well, you got like 40 problems here to check." It's just really well said. How do you think AI agents specifically are going to change the way we just process everyday life?
Yeah. Um, Speaking about, I think you give a great example, right? Which I think it's also well connected to the question you just asked, right? Humans have always been mastering and doing good at tool use. They use tools. The tools are evolving, right? You
Yeah.
got calculator, then you got computer, you got iPhone. You don't know what you're gonna get in the future. But always we learn to not only just develop them, productionalize them, but then we are very good at using them to and then leverage them to accomplish more high level complex problems. And I think that's what happens to these AI agents as well. We want these AI agents to be able to use all these available tools like calculators, our iPhones, eventually our computers, and able to do tasks for us. But again, these agents are also tools for humans. We are the tool users, and agents are still tools. It's just the fact that we are looking at more and more advanced and complex tools, and humans will always be staying on top of the game. At least that's what I believe, right? I'm not a believer of like agents gonna have their self-consciousness and then start doing things that are beyond our control. I think we are still well in that positions to see agents are our tools and our co-pilots, and we're just trying to use them properly to make our jobs more efficiently to be done, and then we can use our time on even just spending more time with your family, enjoy your life, or you can just complete more complex tasks, which are not even possible to be considered doing in the past.
Yeah, really well said there, Sean. It's I couldn't agree more, to be honest with you. And I love what you're building and the vision you have. And you're obviously an expert in all things AI. Would love to have you more on the podcast because it's kind of a passion of Joe and I's, like learning from people just like you that are just a wealth of knowledge in the AI space. I would love to give you an opportunity for anybody to be able to learn more about you and obviously learn more about the platform.
Yeah, for sure. So the best way to know what we've been up to is to visit our website, which is saharaai.com, and our X account, which is Sahara Labs AI. And my personal account on X is Xiangren NLP, right, which represent my research passion for the natural language processing. So we have a lot of exciting launches coming up, and the one I've just mentioned, the DeFi Copilot agent, which we co-launched with Wall Liberty Finance Wallet app. Please stay tuned on that. We'll have the latest updates on our website. Plus, we'll always have new tasks released on our data service platform, which is publicly available. Check it out on our website, and we'll have new things added to the AI developer platform and AI marketplace, which are also publicly available. Check out our website.
I love
One
it.
last
And we'll
thing.
get. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Oh,
Yeah.
one last thing before we go, and Brian's gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. I see that you guys are gonna be at Korea, and you guys got Chungha, one of my favorite Korean
Oh,
artists,
wow.
to perform. And I wish I could be there, but I got a little kid now. I would fly over in a heartbeat and sign up and everything. So super excited to see you guys out there activating with big names.
Yeah, I think we still have one more artist we haven't announced it,
Oh,
which is,
it's announced. It's Yoon B. She's also
oh,
from
yeah.
A1, yeah, 101, X A101. Brian has no idea what we're talking about.
No
We'll
idea.
play the songs later, Brian.
Yeah. I'm also a
Marketing's on
K-pop
point.
fan.
Marketing's doing a good job. Just want to give a shout out to Sahara Marketing, and I can't wait to use the mainnet when it launches.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we want to be serious, but at the same time fun to the community. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. We appreciate it. We're going to definitely have you on the podcast here soon. For everybody watching, we're going to drop all those links down below the description. Sean, really appreciate you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Joe. Great to be here.